think I'm in the mood to make some boxes again. I was looking through my library and came across this one, box making projects for the scroll saw. Fox Chapel Publishing. I will give you a link in the description, but all you have to do is go to Fox Chapel Publishing, you can find it. I was looking through the different boxes, and the one that caught my eye that I'm going to make this time will be this heart-shaped box. It's shaped like a heart. There's 3 compartments inside. You'll need 1.5 inches, more or less, material for the backs, then some 1/2 inch for the lid, and some 1/4 inch for the bottom and the and a liner, which is done in a contrasting wood, if you'll notice. I'm going to make the box itself in maple. I had some 8/4 maple left, so it's let's see, what is it? It's 1 5/8 inches, so it's a little thicker than 1.5 inches, and that'll work. I already used the shelf paper to put the shelf lining paper to put the to put it on the wood. I've sprayed the back of the patterns with adhesive, and the next step will be to go to the drill press to drill pilot holes, 3 pilot holes in each for the starting point for the inside cuts. I drilled the pilot holes on my drill press. You can use a drill press or a hand drill, doesn't matter. Alright, you will need a scroll saw that can handle 1.5 inches thick, or in this case a little bit more than 1.5 inches thick material. Not all scroll saws will. If you don't have something that will handle 1.5 inches, you can cut 2 pieces. You can cut these out of 3/4 and glue them together. But blade in here. It's a number 12 Pegasus modified geometry blade. Right now, those are a go-to blade on most projects. I buy several dozen at a time. They come out of Bearwood Supply in Canada, and I've been dealing with them off and on for several years. They always ship quickly, and if you're ordering just scroll saw blades, they can go through the mail, so the postage is not real expensive. Still, you don't want to order a dozen blades at a time. You want to make it worthwhile. Several dozen. If you use scroll sawing, order a dozen or 2 dozen of each size until you know what you need for your work. I've got a good video on using scroll saw blades, and I've got another entire video on transferring patterns to the wood. So I didn't spend a lot of time on transferring the patterns using blades. That's another totally different subject. Now what you want to do is you're cutting out the inside of these, then you will glue the back to this, and then you will cut around the outside. That way you've got 2 pieces that are married exactly. If you cut one, you cut the middle piece and the bottom separately, sometimes you're a little bit off, one is a little bit off from the other, and again you spend time sanding. And if you like sanding, I would recommend doing it this way. Of course, that's adding another 1/4 inch to the thickness. This scroll saw can handle it. This is a 2S wood scroll saw. I'll give you information on something in the description, although as of the time I'm doing the video, the scroll saws are currently not in production. By the time you watch this, they'll be making them again. Now I'll stop the saw to get the piece out of there. for obvious reasons. There's a little bit of a rough spot where I started. I'll go in with a small, very small file and smooth it out. Alright, there's going to be 2 more for this and then 3 for the other, so it's going to take a while, and it's the same thing over and over, so I'll come back to you when I'm ready to move on to the next step. Okay, I got the inside cuts all made, and what I did is I split these apart into 2. You'll see why in just a minute why I did that. And there's always these little fuzzies around the edge. You want to get them. If you don't get them before you glue the bottom on, you can't get them. So I'll do that. It's easy enough. Only takes a few seconds. Now, there is a little bit of a rough spot where you start the cut and come and finish it. And if you want to get that, you need to get that now too. So I'm going to take a file and work that down. Okay, now the reason I cut these is because I needed some 1/4 inch material for the bottom, and I need a 1/2 inch material for the lid liner, and those will both have to be maple. So I had a piece of 4/4 maple. It was 13/16 thick, so I took the 13/16 and resaw to the table saw and resawed it. I have a piece now that's about 3/16. It's a little smaller than 1/4, but that's close enough. And the 1/2 inch piece, where'd it go? And the other piece is 7/16. So once again, that's close enough for what we're doing. 16th is what's a 16th of an inch among friends, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of this thick piece. Use white glue. It dries clear. So if there's a little squeeze out you miss, it won't be noticeable. It's water-based, so I just use my fingers to spread it around. And then we'll put the thick piece onto the 1/4 inch, and I'm going to use a vise for this. That'll do a good job holding the bottom. And then I'll put a couple clamps on the top part. All right, that is the heart-shaped box with the maple middle and bottom and the contrasting top there, middle layer there in purple heart, and then the top that goes on it is in maple with purple heart in the inner. I'm going to put this in my little spray booth here. Built this out of scrap plywood. It's in what used to be my dark room. You may be able to hear it. There's an exhaust fan in the background. I am wearing a mask. And I'm using a Minwax warm satin spray polyurethane on this. This is not the kind of job where you would want to use a brush. It goes into inside surfaces. Alright. That's the first coat. Doesn't take long.